Earthbound, Mother, whatever you call the series, there's one thing that I think we can all agree on. This trilogy of games has a unique relationship with its music in the games. Before I continue on, I have to state that the topics in this video mainly focus on my personal feelings on the music in this series, and I'm not going into the music in a professional sense, since I am not a musical expert in any way, shape, or form. If I say something that's straight up wrong, feel free to let me know your opinions in the comments. Also, there are going to be spoilers for all three games. Watch at your own risk. A central component in the Earthbound series is music. Heck, the series' original namesake comes from John Lennon's song named Mother. It's not just the name of the game or the soundtrack within the game either, but one of the central themes of these games are music. In the first game, Mother 1/Earthbound Beginnings, you're assembling a melody for Queen Mary so she can remember the melody. After completing the entire melody, she then reveals to Ninten and his friends that she raised Geek, the alien that's been planning an invasion of Earth, and that the melody you've been collecting is the lullaby that she used to put Geek to sleep. In the final battle against Geek, you have to repeatedly use the 8 melodies to defeat him through guilt and memories of when he was a young child. He then flees and is not heard from until the next game. Fast forward to Earthbound, and Gigas is back with a new name and a newfound power. He is back to invade Earth once again, and this time, singing will not help. Just like in the first game, in Earthbound you are set off to collect 8 different melodies from power spots of the Earth, called your sanctuaries. Once you have found all of them, Ness is sent into a realm created from his own mind, Magicant. The very same Magicant from the first game where Queen Mary resided. Within this newly formed Magicant, Ness defeats the darkness within his mind and attains the power necessary to defeat Gigas. The melodies play a different role this time, but are still a key component to the story of the game. In Mother 3, however, there's no melodies to collect, no Gigas to fight, and there's no place that's specifically stated to be Magicant or related to Magicant. It's a very different world with new rules in place. Instead of the 8 melodies, there are 7 needles of the world to find, which don't seem to have any relevance to music. Unless, of course, you want to say that they're similar to conductor's batons, but that's a huge stretch. That isn't to say that music isn't important in this game, however. In battles, there's a combo system in place where if you time out button pushes with the music, you can land combo attacks on your foes. Now, while this isn't story relevant like in other games, it's still a significant link to music. In addition, there's an homage to the 8 melodies of both of the previous games in the credits, and the Mother 3 love theme could be seen as an equivalent to the 8 melodies. It's a theme that's filled with emotion, that's made with the purpose of being a simple song to play, and it has strong ties to themes of family. Beyond that though, while music is important to Mother 3 as well, there isn't any real plot relevance that ties the music into it that I could find. Now I'd like to talk about the actual music, and how Ape Inc. and HAL Laboratory utilize the music to invoke the different feelings and vibes of Earthbound. There are 2 main categories that I would like to talk about in this section. The first category is something that I would like to call the 3 W's, and it has 3 subcategories. Starting off with the first W is the weird. These are songs that are in general just odd and unconventional yet leave a lasting impression. Hi 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 is the theme of Saturn Valley. It's strange and perfectly fits the strangeness of the Mr. Saturns that reside there. Their speech is odd, their technology is weird, and they're always doing things that are silly and weird. And even the way Mr. Saturn looks is bizarre. What better song fit the Mr. Saturns better than this song? The Monkey Cave lies in the Dusty Dunes Desert. It's a maze that's filled with monkeys that only allow you to pass if you trade items with them. This concept is already strange, but then, at the end of the cave, is a monk who has an item that you need to proceed through the game. A dispenser that makes trout-flavored yogurt that was supposed to be delivered to Ness. What? Although, to be fair, in the original Japanese version, it's actually strawberry tofu, which kind of sounds delicious. Regardless, this music exudes weirdness that suits this cave full of monkeys rather well. And then there's Dungeon Man. The music in this place is something that I lovingly call a masterpiece of garbage. Now, it's not because I hate this place, but rather it's so loud, so chaotic, that it goes well into the realm of ridiculousness. And for good reason too. This dungeon is a man that has transformed himself into a giant stone golem with a labyrinth inside. A true dungeon man. The enemies here are exceedingly weird, the exhibits and signs shown here are odd, and the whole concept of this dungeon is nonsense. And so, the music here is perfect for the locale. And this brings us to the last song of this subcategory. Ness awakens from the nightmare. This is the song that plays after Ness defeats the evil in his mind and gains the power of Magicant. Dreams themselves are abstract and oftentimes don't make sense, which is why a song like this, that plays while Ness is awakened from his dream world, makes perfect sense. The next subcategory, and second W in the 3 Ws, is The Wild. These are songs that are either intense or unsettling, giving the player a sense of unease. Moonside Swing. Fourside is a thriving metropolis with unique sites such as the Tapala Theater, the Dinosaur Museum, and the Grand Department Store, but it holds a dark secret. Contained within is a parallel city known as Moonside. It's a dark place with monsters unseen anywhere else, and no's and yeses are inverted. No is yes, and yes is no. However, it turns out that this place is actually a hallucination caused by the Mani Mani statue, an evil device that Gygas uses to help spread his evil influence. This place is eerie and unsettling in a way that not very many other places can make you, and the music here helps set that tone. Kraken of the Sea. Krakens are truly terrifying creatures, as they are fearsome and aggressive. Fights against these ferocious creatures can be some of the hardest battles in the game if you are unprepared, and the music here is just as intense. Truly fitting for a beast of the sea like the Kraken. Battle Against a Machine. This is a song that plays when fighting robots and aliens directly under Gygas' control. These fights can also be incredibly difficult if you are not ready for them. This piece is just as otherworldly and wild as the space creatures you fight when you hear this music. Pokey Means Business. This one starts just as you'd expect a typical RPG boss to play out. The general feeling of a mid-boss is all in the beginning of the song. And then, bam! It switches to a hard rock song that shows you how serious and intense this fight actually is. It subverts the expectations that you would expect and delivers a song that proves how dire the situation is. Truly a showcase of how wild the soundtrack in this game is. And we come to the final W in this category, the wonderful. Songs that are just lovely to listen to, that are filled with emotion. These songs are going to be endgame songs because the ending of a game can be incredibly impactful to how you view a game. The 8 Melodies. How can I make a list of impactful songs without the main song of the game that the player has to hunt down? The 8 Melodies of Earthbound are just that. 8 simple melodies that come together to form such an impactful song. It's just a joy to listen to, and truly a testament to the power that music has. And of course, you're going to have an impactful song like this be important to the game's plot. Deeper into Ness's subconscious. When Ness collects the 8 melodies, he is sent into the world of Magicant, a dream born of Ness's mind. Dreams are abstract and strange, and this world is just as strange as the dream that it's based on. As the dream world goes on, the music becomes even more reminiscent of dreams and the subconscious mind. And this part of the game in particular gives me strong feelings of nostalgia. This melody is soothing and perfect for the dream world of the sleeping Ness. Good friends, bad friends. This is the song that plays after Gygas is defeated, and Ness returns home after his long journey fighting evil. Peace at Last. This song screams victory, peace, and love as characters you've encountered in the game scroll by. I listened to this song again just before writing this script, and it still gives me goosebumps. It invokes a feeling of pure happiness and joy, just like Christmas Day does. In a different way, but still feelings of happiness and joy. And this brings me to the final song of this category. This may be slightly cheating, because the 8 melodies are a part of this song, but here it's even more joyful and a bringer of peace. Smiles and Tears. This song plays during the credits sequence of the game, and it is such a wonderful way to cap off the arduous journey of the long battle against Gygas. And now we have the final category. This section is called Legacy Music. This won't be as long of a section, so don't worry. This is music that has been reused / repurposed for later games. All of the songs in this section have a clear purpose for their reuse in later games. This tells me that there was a lot of thought put into the music in this series. The music for Paula's theme / Polestar is originally played in Youngtown in Mother 1. Youngtown is a town populated entirely by children, as all of the adults were taken away by Geeg for his nefarious deeds. The song that plays here is later repurposed as Paula's theme in the Polestar preschool of Earthbound. Of course they're going to reuse the theme song for a city of children in a preschool. It makes all of the sense in the world that the game developers would repurpose this theme for here. Earthbound's file select music has sections from the Twinkle Elementary School from Mother 1 sprinkled in its theme. The file select scene is one of the first things you see when starting the game. As elementary school can be seen as a beginning in many ways, so too can the file select screen. So there's the loose connection here? I'm going to be honest, I'm grasping at straws for this one, but I want to at least make a mention of the similarities between the two. Maybe they just really like the Twinkle Elementary theme? It's a pretty good tune. Pollyanna is the first song you hear when leaving home in Mother 1, right outside of your home, and it's a relatively uplifting beat. After you gain friends, you never hear this song again, so this theme can be seen as a song to remind the player of home, as it's the first song when starting your journey. Home Sweet Home is its name in Earthbound, and it plays, obviously, at your home. It's a song to remind you of home and bring a sense of nostalgia, so reusing it here is the logical choice for a home theme. In Mother 1, there is a perilous town covered in snow, where you first find one of your party members. Before you can get her to join your group, you have to find her hat in the train station of Reindeer. The girl's name is Anna, and she is found in Snowman. The theme of Snowman is a theme that's present in all of the Mother games, prominently heard in snowy areas. It's the obvious music to use for future locales associated with snow and winter. In the case of Earthbound, this theme is only used in the beginning intro to Winters. Afterwards, it uses its own theme, and Snowman is not heard again. It is used again on the snow-capped mountain, in Chapter 7 of Mother 3, during Lucas's quest to find the 7 needles. Mother 1 is treacherous. The enemies are brutally strong, come out of nowhere, and hit like trucks. In fact, a couple of the enemies are literally possessed trucks. In comparison, Earthbound is definitely more manageable. It's not a cakewalk, but it's certainly easier than what you have to deal with in Mother 1. Where I'm going with this is the normal enemy theme in Mother 1 essentially gets promoted to the Sanctuary Guardian theme in Earthbound. I'm certain that you've heard of it before in memes. This could be a way of saying that the enemies of Mother 1 were brutal, and that kind of difficulty is more reserved for bosses now. Or maybe it's saying the enemies of Mother 1 were powerful enough to become bosses in this game. Something along those lines. All of these song choices and more tell me that there was a clear rhyme and reason for all of the music choices in this series. And looking at your past work for inspiration can set the tone for future works in a variety of different ways. Now, what was the point of this video? Honestly, I kind of just wanted to gush about the music in the Mother series. But if you wanted a point, I suppose it could be that music is important, and this series is an excellent example of properly setting the right tones at the right moments. The developers and music composers put a lot of effort into making the music stand out, and this is one of the many reasons why Earthbound, as well as the other games in the series, are held in such a high regard to this day. Except maybe Mother 1, because it can be a little rough at points. But it can still be a fun time if you're already mentally prepared that it's a bumpy ride. And besides, every game series has to have a starting point, so it's an important game in that regard. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for watching this video, and I wanted to give a huge shout out to Wikibound, the Earthbound/Mother wiki, for providing information as well as references for this video. Without this site, I don't think I would have been able to find the information, references, and resources needed to make this video. So thank you to the Earthbound community for having an amazing wiki to gather resources from. This video absolutely wouldn't have been possible without this site.